teams. This is the 50th Test match between Australia and South Africa. The record overall stands at South Africa having won 32 and the Wallabies just 17. And even in Australia, we played 21 and the South Africans have won 12 to our 9. So young Bob Skinstad, the 25-year-old from the Stormers in the Western Cape. He made his debut against England at Twickenham back in 1997. He is the 50th Springbok captain. There's Mark Andrews, the most capped South African player in history, along with Joos van der Westhuizen, that man who just walked past. There's the goal kicker, number 12, Bram van Straten. So the Springboks have plenty of support here in Perth. We're halfway through the Tri-Nations series. It's home and away between the three nations, South Africa, New Zealand and Australia. The Aussies on top of the table by 1 point. And let's have a look now at this South African lineup. One change to the Springbok pack. The downed the Wallabies in Pretoria 3 weeks ago. Victor Matfield returns from injury at the expense of Johan Ackerman and joins Andrews in the second row. No changes to the back line, where kicking ace Van Straten retains his spot, and man of the match from Pretoria, the 21-year-old Conrad Janches, plays his third test at fullback. But Victor Matfield, he's the big guy who's been given another chance here. Only his third test match. He toured with the Springboks to Argentina and Europe, and he was an all-rounder as a cricketer. He's a crucial man this afternoon in this tight fight for South Africa. And Conrad Janches, the young coloured fullback, his whole street turned out to watch the test match against the Wallabies in Pretoria, and the whole street watched the game at his parents' home. He's only 21 years of age. A brave selection by Harry Viljoen, but what a game he had. Man of the match against the Wallabies. And there's Brayton Polter, 25-year-old. Chris Handy and Simon Poitevin with me, just soaking up the atmosphere, Simon.
Well, you couldn't get a better evening for rugby. This is just beautiful in Perth. And Bobby Skinstad and his team had a long break from Pretoria, and they're ready to go.
And Buddha, what about the cacophony, the noise emanating from this arena?
Oh, it's a wonderful feeling down here, Gordon, in the west to be so welcome. This is home ground territory. The box on the bench in front of them, they're twitchy, they're nervous.
So now Johnny Eales, his last test against South Africa, the second last test match of his illustrious career. John Eales, his 85th test cap this afternoon. He's the most capped second row or lock of all time. Torai Kepu, the block-busting 113-kilogram number 8. There's Owen Finnegan, Justin Harrison. Listen to the crowd. What an ovation for the world champion Wallabies. Fresh from retaining the Bledisloe Cup. And even the South African supporters are applauding this team that had really dominated the world stage in the last couple of years. The Wallabies retain the same forward pack that was so impressive last week against the All Blacks in Dunedin. Veterans Foley and Eales will play their last tests against the Boks, while Harrison will play his very first in the backs. Coach Eddie Jones has made one change with Latham recalled on the wing for Andrew Walker. Incredibly, this highly experienced Aussie backline averages 47 caps per man. And the melon, Owen Finnegan. When he was 7 years of age, he played in 3 rugby league grand finals on the same day. Under 7s, under 8s, under 9s. He's come a long way since then. His 39th test match this afternoon. And there's Chris Latham, the 25-year-old from the Wests club. He played the first half of the first test at the Gabba against the Lions, was replaced by Burke, and hasn't had a start since. But he's back today, and he's hungry and ready to go, Chris Handy.
Gordon, this man is electrifying when he gets the opportunity and wants to play, and he does tonight. It's in an unfamiliar position, but I think he'll handle it superbly.
So now we prepare for the national anthems as the 40,000 strong crowd rises to their feet. Xhosa, Sotho, Afrikaans and English. John Williamson performing the Australian national anthem. So the Wallabies now discarding their tracksuits. They're the two reserve benches. Brendan Cannon, Ben Darwin, Cobain, War, Flatley and Graham Bond. His future mother-in-law and his fiancée are over in Perth to watch the game and hopefully his first test. And there's the South African bench, Ollie LaRue, Albert Vandenberg. We'll see him in the second half, and he's a magnificent athlete, one of the fastest locks in international rugby. And we welcome Adelaide viewers to Subiaco Oval in Perth. John Williamson performing Waltzing Matilda here to this capacity crowd of over 40,000. We've had the anthems, the Boks are ready, the Wallabies are in a huddle at the moment, and we'll listen to John Williamson. Well, it certainly has set the scene for what should be a tremendous spectacle. The referee is Steve Walsh Jr. He was formerly Steve Walsh Jr. We can call him Senior now because Steve Walsh Senior has retired. So Steve Walsh from New Zealand, from Auckland's North Shore, just 28 years of age. Former customs agent. Blows his whistle and we're underway in Tri-Nations 2001 in Perth. John Eales took the ball bravely. Here's Larkham. Good positional play here from Pulsar inside Australia's half. Yanchez, the fullback, coming back loosely. Andre Buss cleaned it up. Lost backward, says the referee. Play on. South Africa 38 metres out. Butch James goes wide. 3 on 2. Just cribbing across field, but what a start here by the Springboks. That's Hall inside the Aussie 22. Owen Finnegan has to get out of there. Good management by the referee. That's Matt Fields, the big man just short of the 22. James, and there's the probing kick. Ross underneath, so is Burke. Well, the West Coast Eagles will be proud of that one from the back. Electric start.
Gnarly great catch. He's got the mark as well, so he's diffused this tremendous start from South Africa. Watch Spurk coming in, eyes on the ball. He's taken the call to mark and hence now the kick out.
And straight away he purges those memories of a less than wonderful performance here the last time out. He's ready. He's back in form. We saw it in Carisbrook. So smoothly was he entering the line. Yes, now the line out has to work, Gordy. That's the area that they want to improve on.
Lucas Van Biljon. What a revelation he's been, Simon Poitevin.
Very young, but just a tank around the ball.
and Matfield took it athletically at the front. The Rocks are going to try and use the driving more here today, by all the indications, but they've dived in. You cannot leave your feet in the ruck area.
I'm sure the Springboks have seen both the Lions and at times last week the All Blacks keep that ball up, drive it forward. It's a terrific weapon, very hard to stop on this occasion. Got over enthusiastic, watch them go. They're driving through. And watch the Springbok players come over the top there. Silly.
Those two players joining from the side and not making contact with an opposition player.
So Chris Latham taking the touch finder. Oh, brilliant play by Van der Westhuizen. Aussies should have kicked it into touch, they didn't. Joe Rock loses the ball backwards. Here's Latham again. Very cool there. Van der Westhuizen calls for the mark, it's paid. Referee plays on. This is Janches. He's got a big boot. George Gregan underneath. He was outside his 22, I think. Yes, Nick Stiles is the acting touch judge for Australia there.
Janches, he's taken the step out of the 25. Good take care by what's used Van der Westhuizen. Gets the ball out, saves it.
That's desperation, isn't it? He just wanted to use that ball. They're not going to give one away.
Well, the Springboks showed they're going to be prepared to move the ball wide this afternoon. It's been exciting stuff so far. This is Nathan Gray. Strong bust by him over the advantage line. Now Foley. Surprise. First-time runner. Pass behind Larkham. Springboks pouring through. And George Smith is there. And taken high by Robbie Fleck. Well, the touch judge has missed it. Very dangerous tackle there.
A couple of interesting passes there to Steve Larkham, put him under huge pressure, and their Springbok side love punishing him.
The pressure on Stephen Larkham immediately. Watches Smith tidies up the ball.
This is a shocker.
The kick.
Too high.
Well, I think he's just got collected by the body. There was no intentional use of arms or otherwise, but he did envelop him.
So no score here at Subiaco.
Wait, no, whistle first. Go. No. Hey.
So George Smith has cleared his head, and we're now going to restart with a scrum on the 10-metre line.
Surprisingly, the Australian scrum heavier than the Springboks. Springboks do think they've got a superiority in this part of the game.
Good firm pitch this one as well, so they'll be able to put their feet back. Look at the muscle men in the front row. Stiles grows every game in technique. They're getting the advantage.
Why, Buddha?
Kobus Vasaki is going in early. He wants to get in at Michael Foley on the angle. They've been critical of Foley's ability to pack.
Here's Kefu, straight into Matfield. Wallabies clean out. Larkham and Gray. Beautiful step. Caught by James. Larkham again. South Africa's offside here. This is Harrison. Referee playing advantage. Larkham. This is a tester. Into the side. Janches. Australia have it. Chris Larkham. Tackling play. Didn't allow this.
And the referee's got someone to talk to here. Let's listen to him.
Late. Butch, get him out here, please.
It's late on Larkham.
By Butch
Now
Jones.
listen to me. Tackle down here on 7 goal, I was more than happy with, okay? Going for the ball. You were going for the man after the ball had gone. Okay. It's got to cut out, okay? Don't carry on with that. Could have been anyone. No, you play the ball, not the man, and it's back on the goal line. Take midfield, back goal line.
Butch
So
Jones
a
there.
chance, Buddha, a chance now for Matthew Burke to post first points. No score after 6 minutes.
Make sure Bob goes back to goal line. It's just on the 15th, thanks.
28-year-old Matthew Burke from the Eastwood Club. His side lost to Sydney University the Citibank Premiership in Sydney this afternoon. Rod Moore, an Eastwood teammate, in the front row for Australia. But this is handy. It's 15 metres in. Can Burke slot it between the uprights? Crowd will tell you. So a real miss by Matthew Burke. His success rate in Tri Nations is 66 prior to that kick. Let off South Africa.
Excellent start of the game for Nathan Gray. Stepped and got through twice.
And that's important because that's where the Box think that they've muscled up, with Brampton, Stratton and also Butch James in close.
Finnegan on halfway. Head down like a bulldozer. Makes 10. Larkham. Butch James here in the last line. That man who came and picked up the ball looked to be offside.
He called it. Steve Walsh has nailed him. Excellent kick from Steve Larkham. Dean Hall, the man who's come in offside.
The man who last played the ball, he's offside.
Well, he probably saved a try, Buddha.
No doubt about that, Gordon. It was a great kick by Steve Larkham, but it was just finding Butch James struggling for the ball. And that man came from in front of him, Dean Hall, and played the ball. Referee Steve Walsh just allowed the advantage, and when there was none. Now Matthew Burke, keen to get this one.
Okay, Simon, let's have a look at the AXA angle here for Matthew Burke. It's a difficult kick. It's a 46-degree angle. And Matthew Burke is about 9 metres in from the touch. The distance, just over 30 metres. So distance won't be a problem. But Australia needs this one to just reward the pressure they put on early. Much better strike from Matthew Burke. First points Wallabies.
See a goal. And a good sprinkling here of Springboks supporters as Matthew Burke slots it.
3 points for the penalty goal. Van Straten goes deep. Here's Latham and Kefu. Kefu putting on the afterburners over the 22. Gregan into scrum half. Latham. Nathan Gray has been a handful so far. Nick Stiles look as though he's been hurt behind the play. Well, it's Michael Foley, I think.
It's like very ordinary discipline from the Springboks in this first 9 minutes 28 of this game.
Great work by firstly Owen Finnegan, Nathan Gray as well. Everyone fighting for position. They're not trying to meet the opposition, they're trying to get in behind, forcing the Springboks to come to illegal stuff to get the ball. A bit of pressure on.
Well, that was just mindless play. The referee gave every sort of warning, but carried on.
So Australia with the territorial dominance and the majority of possession, leading by 3-0. That was Justin Harrison who soared. Larkham now. Big chase here from Daniel Herbert inside the 22. Herbert wants to hit it.
It's quite amazing that the Victoria Gamers are putting a stick stance. George Gregan, Justin Harrison. Well, he loves a blue.
Now George Gregan came in to break that up, and then Joost van der Westhuizen went on with it, pushed Gregan out of the way, which was totally unnecessary.
Boys will be boys, Gordy. And it's early days. They just let off the pressure.
Well, it was clever play by van der Westhuizen because he saw an opportunity there to upset Gregan.
Yeah,
no, go away.
Exactly. It's all those little games they play.
Yeah. We've actually had the whistle go twice now, and we've had stuff go on after the whistle. Right, it ain't going to carry on because I'm going to start dishing out penalties, all right? No problem. Discipline your players, please. We're going back here, scrum, green ball.
So Steve Walsh Jr., he's been refereeing since he was 16 after suffering an injury which ended his career.
Just on the kick from Steve Larkham back in Victoria, they didn't even test Yanchez at fullback in his first test match, but they're really trying to pepper in this game.
Well, 4 of the Australian forwards are older than the referee.
And difficulties there in the front row. You can see Cobus Fasaki flat on his face there. That's how low this scrum's being packed.
Well, you wait for me.
He fell awkwardly, Buddha.
He did. He's got pins and needles in the hand. And you don't often see that.
So Cobus Fasaki, the strong man at tight head. It's 3-0 Australia. So still Cobus Fasaki in difficulty like Rod Mort. He's a trained accountant. Like Chris Handy, he's a trained accountant. Look at that possession so far. 72% Australia.
You don't have to be too trained to see that that's favouring Australia heavily, as is possession slightly. But it's early days. These are the scrums that tell. This has got to be one where the Wallabies put some pressure on. There, without
shoulders, one hit his shoulders.
Steve Box is wrong.
Here's Van der Westhuizen. Well, something's gone right for the Springboks. The Wallabies weren't back 10 metres. The referee playing advantage. Fine kick there by Butch James.
Free kick.
It's a very obscure ruling from Steve Walsh in the scrum. Cobus Fasaki came in with no intention to bind, and yet he penalised Nick Stiles. It may have been just a one-on-one penalty, but wasn't a great one.
But just explaining there, the referee was playing advantage. The Australians didn't retire the 10 metres from the initial free kick, so the free kick is awarded 10 metres further down the field, even though the South Africans gained about 40 metres with their touch finder. Now they have a chance to regain it. Knock on by Roth, and that's Fasaki in for it. James, Fleck and Hall. Latham held on, got him by the bootlace. Halfway line. Just the one penalty goal by Matthew Burke so far. Butch James in behind. Chase here for Matthew Burke. And that's a very good kick, but I think Burke let it go over the touchline first. Let's wait for the touch judge, Paul Hannes. Oh, he's gone the other way.
Well, Butch James, they saw that Latham had been caught up in that tackle on Dean Hall. Put it back into his corner. Smart play from the fly out.
So the touch judge has ruled there that Burke took the ball over the touchline. Judge for yourself.
Well, I think he's clearly right.
Exactly right. Bobby Skinson, this is South Africa's chance now. Just 9 metres out. Rattled in the tackle and lost it. Oh, that's a crucial turnover there by the Boks.
Go away. Here we go. Scrum. Go away.
Well, Fun Billion can't heed motor.
Here we go.
Coming like a rocket.
He's hit the line at cracker pace. Foley goes down on the ball.
Slow it down. Waiting, Green.
And there was a little incident, but back to scrum. This is one where South Africa really want to attack the Wallabies.
You make sure it gets in.
Well, Lucas
Billion the ball goes in.
Won his amateur national colours for wrestling in the front row, but he just didn't have his eye on the ball there.
This is a scrum that will need to stay up, and it isn't. And that penalty is totally correct.
Go screen him down. Up.
He's making no attempt to stay up.
So just taking the opponent in, you've got to pack square on in the front row, Chris.
Yeah, not only square on, you watch it comes in and then he bears down. And there's no reason for the Wallabies to take a scrum that they're feeding the ball to down.
Needless to say, there's plenty of tricks going on that front row, Buddha.
There we go.
Always.
Well, Cobus Fasaki claimed that Michael Foley's binding was illegal before the test in Pretoria. And they're out to out-muscle the Wallabies up front. Gray. He's fitting in. They were waiting for him. Good tackle by Van Straten. Now the overlap. Welcome taken by James. Legally, says the referee. Pulse up. Fleck. Caught by Styles. He saw the two front rowers there and went for it. Chance now for South Africa. Andrews out wide and big tackle on Hall from Chris Latham. Finnegan there as well. We're on the halfway line. Foss. Joe Roth. A right foot kick into space. Bobby Skinstad with great skills. And here's Larkham. Wants to keep the ball in the field of play. Doesn't want to kick it out. But if it goes out, he won't mind in that situation. So South Africa with a fine relieving kick there from Conrad Janches, the 21-year-old who trialled with the Chelsea Football Club in England in 1995. Shows why there with that gain of 40 metres.
A bit of West Coast Eagles Swans there for the last segment of play. All fighting for field position. Eventually it gets back to where it all began.
Great win there for South Africa on the Australian throw. Skinstad. Good delivery from the number 8. James with a cutout to Fleck. He's very elusive. Good clean out from the block forwards. Australia come in. Lost ahead Australia. James. Still there. And straight to goal. South Africa to put it back here. Oh, he took the wrong option. Boy, they've taken the wrong option. If that ball went wide, Australia was in trouble. Penalty here. It's getting heated.
Settle down, boys. Settle down. Plenty of fire in this game. It's great to see.
Okay. Here is against it. I don't care. Whistle's clearly gone. It's a formal caution against this man here. Foul play, okay? All right? Back to 10. Go away.
So discipline now needed from the Australians. Butch James. Great burst down the short side, and what anticipation from Matthew Burke to intercept and then get the flick pass inside. But the clean out from Matfield was great. So Rod Moore, he was a man mountain there, and it's still Australia leading 3-0, but the Box with a chance to level up. So, chance now for Bram van Straten. This kick is only 4 metres in from the touchline.
We didn't quite see what happened with Toto Kepu there. Headgear was ripped off.
So Bram van Straten. A weird kick, wasn't it? The South African goal kicker has complained about the Summit balls because they play with the Gilbert balls in South Africa, and they're the ball for Super 12. But
it's amazing though that Johnny Wilkinson found no problem.
Yeah,
and those things will change. The Wallabies had to play with the Adidas ball.
Well, the Wallabies love the Summit ball. But it's Van Straten who's called for uniformity with the use of the footballs. New Zealand have the Adidas balls next week. So a knock on by Australia. Good clearance there by Kempson. Finnegan! Monstering tackle. Now Van der Westhuizen. Matthew Burke ever alert. Nasty bounce. Hall! Good chase there by Dean Hall. And Australia still under pressure now as the Box bounce the pressure back.
Huge tackle by Owen Finnegan on Van Biljon.
You can feel the Box applying more pressure now. They've balanced, they've kept themselves with possession. Great tackle by Finnegan, though it gets the Springboks kept going forward. Good opportunity for attack.
That's Victor Matfield. He's been impressive so far. Now Andre Venter. Finnegan again in for the tackle, but a good offload. Kovis Vasaki. Van der Westhuizen to James. Van Straten. Straight into Stephen Larkham. Almost pinched it in the tackle. His pulse up. Clever kick. Gregan there first, so is Burke. And I think he was shouldered out of the way there. You can't run shoulder to shoulder, but obstruction is the ruling there by the Aussie defenders.
Very fine line. Watch Steve Larkham. He's the player who's most prominent in this shielding.
And Robbie Flex being replaced as we see this little bit of pas de deux. The kick in behind was great. Really put the Wallabies in two minds. And that crossover drew the ire of Steve Walsh and a very disappointed Robbie Fleck with an ankle injury.
Well, this is most unfortunate for the Springboks. Harry Viljoen, Simon, was even toying with the idea of having 5 forwards on the bench and just 2 backs. I bet he's pleased he hasn't done that.
And Dion Kaiser has gone on in 21 jersey, probably to take up that outside centre position.
Well, Grant Van Straten could kick this one with his eyes closed. Scores a level here at Subiaco. 1 penalty goal apiece.
Well, it's a very rugged game ahead here. Both sides wound up on Vietnam Veterans Day here in Australia. 35th anniversary of the Battle of Block 10, and for all those Vietnam vets, 5 of them up to the Peacekeepers in East Timor. Big hello from Australia.
Yes, the East Timor Defence Forces from Australia all watching this telecast live on the 7 network. Skin stats. Herbert lost a heads, so Australia's putting a lot of pressure on at the kickoffs, but not able to regain them so far as they did against the All Blacks. Barney's over. This is Burke. Hefty kick. Yonchez underneath. Calls for the mark.
Use me!
And Yonchez again, with that telling right boot, taking it to within 5 of halfway.
Well, the Australians have been using Justin Harrison as the major ball winner in the line-out. He got 3, he lost 1. The Springboks now applying pressure. Harrison goes to the back. Finnegan to 2.
Yes, Eddie Jones says these are the toughest test matches of all. Australia through Harrison, ever alert. Now Kepu is cut out. A double cut to Herbert and Latham. Dean Hall across. That's going to be a terrific battle this evening.
Good work by the Wallabies. They were lucky to get possession back from that line out. They're really being tested here, but when they got it, they used it well. 2 cuts, they got a man into space. Herbert found Chris Latham, he tried the David Campese goose step. Dean Hall had none of it.
So here's Latham again, 5 from halfway. Loves to chance his arm in this situation. And a pirouetted through like Rudolph Nureyev.
Silly George Gregan. It was just really silly.
The penalty was Australia's way, and then it's been reversed.
Churlish. Right. A very churlish thing for a very senior member of the Wallaby team. Frustration. They've got the penalty, the advantage. George Gregan decides to throw the ball back into one of the Springboks' face.
Oh, there's a Skinstad face.
That's disrespect.
Loose tap, here's Finnegan again. That man's offside. Accidentally. Scope beat Australia. Finnegan is really turning on the blow torch pressure here with some big hits.
He's a sort of player against this very physical South African pack. He needs to lead the way, and he's doing a good job.
And haven't you seen the difference?
Free kick Australia. Kepu. Springboks packing in too early there. Now Larkham again. And Van Straten into touch. Australian throw.
found that they want to attack the Springboks out wide. They're not bringing their big men in close to the Wallabies. They're doing those cut-out passes and trying to plunge through the centre. But Finnegan's having a huge game. George Smith is a bit quiet because the type of game is not one of his liking.
So John Eales here. He was taken out. It's going to be advantage play for Australia. That's Rod Moore at the back. And it's against South Africa for closing the gap. Well, I think also there was some blatant obstruction there on John Eales, which would make it a penalty decision. There's the arm all over Eales in the air as Australia take it on quickly through Foley. He was wrenched backwards.
Excellent piece of work by Tote Kefu.
Nick Styles it was.
Accelerated.
Now a nice set scrum. This is one for Foley to control.
Scrum it here. No, get in, scrum it here. Wait for my call in here. Crouch and hold.
Well, the Aussies have spent endless hours on the training paddock for this situation. Scrum centre field inside the opposition 22.
Scrum it here.
Van der Westhuizen coming round prematurely there. Knows this is desperate.
Scrum it here.
Must have a steady base here. The Aussies have got 3 to the left, 2 to the right.
Get in!
Joe Roth sitting at fullback.
You get in quicker.
Well, Gregan, the free kick against Gregan for not putting the ball straight in. Aussies scrum under pressure there.
Yes, it was. Cobus Vasaki had got good position on Nick Styles.
Seems to me.
Very good grip. He couldn't get his arm up.
But Bob, here, please. No, fine. I'll tell you now, it seems to me that what's happening in every scrum, you're either going early or we're getting it going down, okay? Collapsing, okay? We can sort it out, we can get replacements, whatever you like. It's up to you guys. Get in, scrum properly, close it up. You guys are going in early, in my opinion, and he's trying to delay it and get him to push over your halfback. He's not putting the ball in. Okay? No, he's delaying it, waiting for that, okay? So that's what that free kick was for. Well, the solution is we just need a bit of discipline from the players, don't we? A bit of cooperation, otherwise I'm going to bang it all day, aren't I?
Chris, interesting interpretation. The insinuation from Foley is that the Boks are pushing over the mark before the ball goes in. That's why Gregan didn't put it in. How did you see it?
Well, Steve Old said it. The Boks are going in early. Why wouldn't you delay it? I mean, he should be tinging them for going in early all the time. Then Gregan wouldn't delay it. It's simple. It's the chicken and the egg theory.
Great question from John Eales. What's the solution?
That's right. I mean, the players they don't know what the solution is.
Well, the solution is with the referee.
Of course it is, and that's what he was asking, politely.
That's what he's praying for. Here's Michael Foley. 10-metre line, South African territory. It's 3-all. But again, Eales is taken out. Victor Matfield interfering with John Eales.
Again.
And that was exactly the same obstruction that we saw in that earlier lineup. This time he gives a penalty, not a short arm free kick.
She's a dockyard brawl. It's a classic test match between these two great nations. Physical up front. They're taking every bit of advantage or disadvantage they can get.
Well, the South Africans fancy themselves against the Australian forward pack, and the Aussies are muscling up well low. They're great to take an opportunity here. 15 metres out. Opening up the front. Here's Herberts. Wrapped up by Voss. Kefu now. Pick and drive from the Aussies. South Africa in trouble. This is Foley. Andre lost the tackler. That managed to slow it down. Gregan, Finnegan, the little leg pass. Herbert into scrum half. Now Joe Roth. Locked up. South Africa's defence covered up well. 5 metres to go. Dan Herberts. They've lost 1.5 metres. Finnegan again, he always lost ground. Tomaplata for Gregan. Larkham goes himself. Roth cleans out. Springboks desperate. Australian scrum under the goalpost.
Fantastic defence from the Springboks, especially with Chris Slazeman looking as though he could get a spot into the corner there. They closed up. And what right has Mark Andrews got to hold George Gregan down for 30 seconds after tackling him?
Great defence by the Box. Terrific, consistent attack by the Wallabies. As good would break any other team, and these Box stood their line. Great tackling. Bang, Foley came in and hit by James. Again with that shoulder, but it really rocked him. They retained possession and went again.
Yes, well, don't forget, as Mark Andrews tries to clear his head, the Springboks have not had their goal line crossed by the All Blacks or Australia in the previous 2 Tri-Nations games. That says something about their defensive wall and their defence coach, former Rugby League international Les Kiss from Australia.
And they're proud of it. Now we'll see that scrum situation.
As he scrum again under pressure, they've got to use it. It's gone through the net. What a great scrum there from the Springboks. Big psychological progress.
It is. The referee, when he puts the scrum down, has got to get out of the way quicker. Gregan behind him couldn't get the ball in. Pretty crucial these. It was a great scrum by the Box. Here one now, the Wallabies have a chance to disrupt their ball. Watch this time for what Vasaki does, number 3 on the tight head side of the Springbok scrum. He'll try and take Styles down to prevent that push coming through.
Now the Australians look to be pushing over the mark early. The ball wasn't put in by the scrum half.
Here we go.
I think both sides just want consistency here from Steve Walsh.
Back to the referee.
What are you doing?
Time to get that composure.
I heard what you said.
So Mark Andrews, again in trouble here.
They got on good contact. They kept the push through, and that's a turnover. Gregan caught with the ball.
Well, the ball had cleared, so he guess he could have thrown that back to his players.
Fair call to Steve Walsh.
I think it was a moral victory there to
And they were pumped. You saw it.
So we thought Mark Andrews had some slight concussion, but it's only to change his contacts. So the Box have come back territorially.
Huge turnaround.
And I think you'll find possession-wise is strong as well, yes. See, that just tells that's how strong they've been in the second part of this first half. As Mark Andrews puts in a contact lens, I think previously one had slipped up. A lot of players playing with contact lenses these days. You can see it there on his finger.
It's got to happen off the field,
Well, you're holding up a global audience of maybe 500 million people around the world for Mark Andrews.
Get it in there.
Now, this is ridiculous. Now, the tackle completion is the attempted tackles against the tackles made. So it indicates that the Aussies are very strong in that area. They've missed only just 1 or 2 tackles so far. Good solid scrum for South Africa. Now Butch Jones looking for plenty of territory here and takes it outside the 22. So breathing space for the visitors.
9 minutes 50 to go in this first half. The Australians been there long enough. Eddie Jones looks on. They've got to get the points now.
They've got to apply the blade to it, Simon. This is must-do territory. They've been fooling around for long enough. They've lost the momentum so far. They've got to pick it up again.
Not in straight there from Michael Foley, but that comes down to the pressure being applied by the Springbok forwards. They're really attacking Australia in these set pieces.
Crouch and hold, get set, no!
Not much here but Justin Harrison.
And it's a good wrestle again in the scrum. The Springboks making the Wallabies expend more energy. Brayton Pulse is onside. Nathan Gray handles. Now the referee has ruled that one has gone forward.
Well, tactic's been working very well for the Box here in Perth. There's been about 3 spilled balls.
Well, Daniel Herbert has found trouble off the ground with it there. Comes forward off Nathan Gray's hands, even though he tidies it up.
Hiskinsat, Gregan, and Pulsar. Manhandled by Joe Rock. but also that tackling machine, Owen Finnegan.
They're exploiting the lack of speed or perceived lack of speed that Owen Finnegan has off that short side, as did the Lions, and he was slow to get away. But when he caught up, he smashed him.
So Harrison. Outside on Australia's throw. That's an interesting one. The crowd clearly disagrees.
Owen Finnegan can't believe it. It's a bit hard in a pinball machine to know where you are.
Well, he can't go. He was jumping for the ball. He didn't go until it tapped off the hand he's entitled to.
Technical, but sort of decision that can really be a game breaker. Justin Harrison now, but the lineouts really are a bun fight, and South Africa competing superbly on the Australian ball. Skinstad at the back. Kimson to Andrews, into Smith. Now South Africa with their chance. Here's Van Viljoen coming through, and Van der Westhuizen like a high hurdler. Bobby Skinstad. He offloaded well in contact. They've lost 5. Great defence, Australia.
Owen Finnegan again. Sensational tackle.
Right pass from Skinstad to Andre Voss. Voss just caught going backwards and hits the turnover.
Finnegan, the melon, has gorillaed him. His defensive work rate is enormous today. There, one hit, and then he goes on to Foss. Look at this, traps him, kills the ball, presents it to the Wallabies. Turnover.
Chris Latham with a clever grubber kick up towards the halfway line. It's cut and thrust from both sides. It's an epic test match here between these great rivals.
That was a clever kick because it gave him the chance of either the ball heading out or the Springboks needing to sort of take it across. So it was a good each-way bet.
The Boks are only giving the Wallabies crumbs, near crumbs to work with.
Mark Andrews at the back. Andre is the money man. Referee 5 metres into Australian territory. Again, it's Butch James. Big tackle by Finnegan. Australia lost ahead. Advantage here for South Africa. Pulse up. Eels got it high.
Now Nick Styles.
The tackle has to be below the level of the shoulders, and Nick Styles coming in contact around the throat and jaw.
You'll see there's nothing malicious. Paulser comes inside. He's a short, slippery customer. There's no clenched fist or straight arm. Styles clearly at fault.
So the score here, Butter, is 3-3 at Subiaco. So Brayton Pulsar. This one is about 55 metres out. Kick. So the lineup as we resume with Lucas Van Viljoen. Victor Matfield comes in. Mark Andrews at the back. Clever organisation from South Africa again. Skinstad. Finnegan from behind. Van Viljoen follows through. The strong half. Van der Westhuizen sets it back nicely. Van Straten. They're really asking questions now of the Australian defence. Pulsar. James. Andrews out wide. Yanchez. Slippery. Got through. Michael Foley. Skinstad back to Hall. They're pressing on down the short side. Advantage here for the Boks. Fenta into Smith. What a go-go. Palm off that was. Van Viljoen. Smith again the tackler. And penalty's been awarded. Referee putting the lid on proceedings.
He's back over here for interfering with the ball.
Tremendous pressure from South Africa.
Yeah, this is against Michael Foley. Very lazy in getting back.
I think he pushed the player off the ball, but it's still a penalty and still the box fire up there. Pressure.
Now, what does Bobby Skinstad do here? Does he go for goal or have an attacking line out? He's going to have a shot for goal, I think, but a cheap shot there by Michael Foley.
He was clearly on the wrong side of the ruck and pushed a player who was entitled to be there.
So Bram van Straten, and this is a horror kick really for any goal kicker at this level. As we look at the AXA angle, it's a 32-degree angle, so he loses about 2 meters of the real width of the posts. Distance is handy at 35.
Penalties running at 6 apiece, and the Australians have lost 3 of their own lineouts. Springboks untouched, 11 wins.
South Africa dominating the territory and the possession now. They've cranked it up in this second quarter of the game as we close on half-time. This to put the Boks in the lead. He's pushed it out to the right. He looks unhappy with his strike. Not the normal fluent motion of Bram van Straten.
And wouldn't you like to have Mark Connors available to go on for the Wallabies? Quite often he's been the difference in the line-outs in being able to pinch opposition ball. He's not even on the bench.
So Van Straten has missed 2 kicks. He's had a 92% success rate against the Australians in his last 2 tests. Paul's just kicked down to Burke inside the quarter. Paul. He's strong. He managed to stay in field. Butch James. Space here for the Boks. Under their Fraser. Venter. Jantjies. Andrews. What a try! Jantjies was able to offload, and Mark Andrews gets the try, the first of this game.
Well, this is a great Springbok try. One of the best I've seen them put together in recent time. They had applied the blowtorch to the Wallabies and then came away with a piece of magic. James caught them all across field. It was this man, Van der Westhuizen, that created the space. It went through the hands to Jantjies, who picked up the big man trailing Andrews. Guilty.
Fantastic work by Butch James. He saw Nick Styles out in the back line here. They just shot through with Van der Westhuizen. And watch the positioning of Mark Andrews. There he is talking to Jantjies. Superb try, Mark Andrews.
So the Boks started this test match as rank outsiders, but they're certainly firming into favouritism even at this stage. They've taken control up front and Australia has to answer.
And up goes the chant, ole, 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 ole. World Cup 1995, Ellis Park. That chant almost deafening there.
What an outstanding team try by the Springboks. And there's another reply just under the crossbar for Bram van Straten. He can't believe it. What's going on, he says. Australia trailing by 3-8.
He's used to that altitude at Johannesburg and Pretoria.
This is sea level, absolutely.
There's the hooter. But a very impressive first 40 for the South African Springboks. They won by a point here back in 1998 in Perth, and they're looking to repeat history. Halftime score, South Africa 8, Australia 3. Yeah, let's have a look at it. Foot's on the line. When his foot hits the line, before he's forced the ball, yeah, absolutely right. Steve Landau. If you can give us plenty of run up, so we can highlight it. Otherwise, people won't know. Can we have a little bit of extra run up on this play on?
Yeah, mate, got it. No problem. We took a wide shot on that last one, so we can't really show how tight it was. That last try.
So can we have a little bit of extra run up on that play on, so I got a chance to set it up? Okay. Yeah, that's still enough. That's plenty. Yeah. We have it earlier. Yes, well, a great try by South Africa, but was it a try? Mark Andrews, watch his left foot, hit the touchline. He was out there before he grounded the ball, so it was no try. But as they say, read it in the scorebook. South Africa and Mark Andrews helping themselves to an 8-3 lead, but clearly he was in touch before he grounded the ball. Andrews a try. Van Straten getting the penalty goal, and Matthew Burke a penalty goal for Australia. Let's analyse proceedings now in that first half. Former flanker from Australia, Gary Pearce.
Gordon's been an absolute cruncher up front, right at the forward play, tight head, pushing the loose head down right from the start. This scrummaging has been really torrid out there, but just don't leave it at that piece of set play. You find in lineouts, John Eales has been jumped all over. In this case, a shoulder right over the top, in this case, coming halfway up his back to knock him out of it. The Springbok side is contesting every piece of play. And even when the ball moves across to second phase, where Larkham is trying to get us down there, he's been taken out all over the field. So there just isn't a place where the Wallabies can find a gap at this particular time. And early on, the Boks are able to look at the gaps way out wide. So they're really extending the Wallabies with plenty of support to be able to move it across. So in moving it across, they're manipulating that defence and trying to move it into certain sections. And we saw this late in the half, where the Wallabies were really bunched in this area here because they were being extended right across to that side. But there was plenty of players in between, and the cutout was what really solved it. So it really put the Wallabies into real desperate measures here, and they really had to extend themselves to get across. And even though a questionable try, the lead-up work was superb.
Thanks, Gary Pearce, and certainly the Springboks looking more hungry and more urgent in all phases of play. They lead by 8-3 at halftime. Back with more in the second half after the break. This time, used to this time, and winning it for Australia. In the air in the west as we have a springtime feel, the Perth CBD and the Subiaco ground away in the top right, and here it is live in Perth, Western Australia, and it's chock-a-block. The record crowd 43,000. We're over 40 today as we look at the first half match stats with Simon Poidevin. 8-3 half-time score.
A great start for the Wallabies. The Springboks are now dominating possession of territory. The line-out is a problem across 3 there against
South Africans here at
line breaks for the orderly on both sides. Referees doing a good job in a very, very testy atmosphere. Only 6 penalties apiece. And kicks in general play. The Springboks using more for territory out there.
Yes, overall, the turnovers by Australia, Chris Handy, 15. And the Springboks only 6 turnovers. So that's a pretty telling statistic. Too many handling errors from the Wallabies in that first half as well.
Well, the temperature has plummeted, and so have the Wallabies' chances of winning this match unless they can turn around those statistics. Scrums have got to be better, lineouts have got to be better. Using the ball and completing has got to be primary with the Wallabies now. We'll watch.
So the use of the benches in the second half is going to be so critical. Fresh legs coming on the field. How early will Australia bring in some tight forwards and back rowers? South African coach Harry Viljoen said he won't be mucking around. He's got Albert Vandenberg, the tall giraffe, on the bench. So we're just waiting the kicking tee. Eddie Jones, the Wallaby coach, looking a worried man.
Well, I'm sure he'd be encouraging the Wallabies to go back to that quick throw the line out to Justin Harrison, which was working well. He got momentum getting across that Springbok line out.
So here we go. The Wallabies with it all to do in the second half. Herbert coming through, but again Matfield, the tall timber is there. Bumps down the halfway. Push the pass is Burke. Australia back in possession. Dan Herbert saw a half gap. Ball's been slowed down. Stephen Larkham. Kefu wrapped up by Basaki, just short of halfway. Australia still press on the short side. Clever kick by Gray. Yancha's in big trouble. Latham got him. Regan Watson's. They dive over. Penalty here, Australia. Referee plays advantage. Finnegan. Dion Kaiser, number 21. Australia still in possession. It's only 10 metres out.
Holding on down there.
Well, he's going to bring it back for the penalty. Professional foul, really, by the Springboks. They were absolutely desperate to stop Australia getting it back.
Still they stand in the middle of the breakdown. This is one of the most physical encounters I've seen in the last number of matches. Great work by Nathan Gray. Skimmed the ball down the line. Latham tries to hold Yancha's up. Goes down, but they turn the ball over. And this is where the advantage comes from.
Well, they're certainly bridging over there, the Springboks, leaving their feet. Australia says, forget the goal kick. We want to try. We want to try.
The Wallabies have declared they must win this line out. Hopefully they fixed it. In an area there's been pressure on, they'll want the gap.
Well, Finnegan's a very good option at 2.
Mark Andrews is a good jumper against him.
John Eales at the back. Regan. Gray smashed by Woods James. Here's George Smith. The Indian rubber man.
Oh, that's a professional foul of the highest proportion.
By the captain.
This could be a sin bin here.
By the captain, number 8, Bobby Skinstad.
Andre Foss and Bobby Skinstad. Touch judge coming in.
I just got flagging. I wasn't sure what happened.
Bobby's sure what happened. But you get away with what you can. Nathan Gray ran into a brick wall in Butch James that time.
Well, James has already had one warning for this tackling style of his with use of the shoulder.
To be fair to him, I think he attempted to use his arms that time as Gray straightened. Getting
So
some treatment on the sideline.
Just wait here for the caution.
Sorry. sorry, no arms on the tackle, shoulder only. That's a formal caution against you. Any more, and I'm going in my pocket for something, okay? All right, yes.
Well, that's the second time he's been penalised for that style of tackling. And Australia now with a chance to have a shot at goal.
Well, Bobby Skinstad's got to be feeling very lucky.
Yes, Simon, but to get away with some. Now.
So Matthew Burke's going to have a shot for goal here.
The referee saying off Mike that he thought one of the balls was flat.
But down here, sure.
It should be a shame in international rugby if it wasn't to the right pressure. And that may be what Brandon Stratton was saying. If they're not flighting properly, maybe because they're not inflated to the right pressure.
How about the intensity of defence from both sides out there? But when the Australians are on attack for that last phase, some massive hits going on.
So the Australians have upped the ante after coming out from the break. This will close the gap to 2 points South Africa's way. You don't believe it, Burke's missed it from almost in front. And now the breakout from Paulson. George Smith casts it down.
Fantastic stuff. This test match has everything. It has the best, it has the worst. This is a gift for Matthew Burke, and he hooks it. And now the breakout. Paulson is the excitement machine of the Springboks. He gets into gear. If this chip goes over the head, he's away.
One of the problems there was Matthew Burke was the only chaser through on Andre Fanta.
So the score here, 8-3 South Africa. Well, it really is very, very tense. Justin Harrison looks as though he's taken a knock here.
Now Justin Harrison's fine. Andre Fanta's the one who's looking for some sort of attention.
There's a shoe off the field. I think one of Fanta's shoes is off here getting some treatment. So he shouldn't be able to hold on play. It's a boot problem. I think there's something may well have come through the boot. As we get pictures of what's going on the bench. Some problem with the tongue of that boot.
No, quiet.
The Aussies will be careful not to tread on any toes.
Man can't run on the field with a boot.
Where's Cinderella? Butch James. A horrid kick. Eels. The big man. And there's desperation again then from Andre Voss. South Africa out of jail. Clayton Paulson with a fine clearing kick.
And Butch James flattened his face in the background. Hopefully he wasn't interfered with after the kick.
Well, no touch judge has got his flag up that Owen Finnegan was the one who came through the hit.
Voss also requiring attention.
Well, something
great scrambling that time by the Boks. They were under pressure. That ball went up into no man's land and the Wallabies just couldn't quite get it. He kicks it there. He's only just caught his foot. That's why he's down. He can get hit in the body. As Finnegan went past him, his foot caught in Finnegan's pants.
Well, of course, a nasty reef to that knee.
It would have been his right kicking foot as well.
Well, it's the sort of one that either the knee or even the groin. But it appeared to be accidental as Finnegan came through. Let's hope that Butch James is okay. The young man's having a terrific game. Showed a lot of composure for South Africa's try just before half-time. Normally he has kicked it in that situation, but he threw the big long cutout and the outside men did the rest.
There's a lot of inactivity here. These players will need to get up to performance level quickly.
Finnegan at the front. What a clever short throw from Foley. Regan. Here's Liger. Herbert and Latham on the loop. Latham's outside. Great play there from the Aussie. Tibbets to fully stretch South Africa.
Superb judgment, Steve Larkham. He had his runners coming as dummies out there. Watch it as Finnegan takes a short one from Foley. This is good ball.
Robbie Kempson had gone to sleep at the front of the line out. There's good support by Mark Eller at Lovett. Pass, loop, back up, then poke it through and put pressure on the opposition.
Harrison won it. Here's Herberts charging onto it in midfield. 5 metres out. Gregan. Harrison. South Africa defending grimly here. Kifu. 5 metres out from the bot goal line. Daniel Herbert again. Smashed by Hall. Unforgiving defence from South Africa. It's a brick wall. Australian scrum feeds.
Not quite what they want. The way the scrum's been under pressure. They prefer to have the ball in a ruck or more.
Plenty of talking going on out there. Bram van Straten down for the count. So the score is 8-3 in favour of the Box. So Bram van Straten. Australia has the scrum feed here, and they really have to ram home their advantage. And Chris Handy, this is where the Box will be looking for a monumental scrum against the Aussie feeds.
No doubt, Mitch Stiles just reminding the Springboks not to put their legs around where the ball's coming back. And back it comes. But this one has to be square. The Box will attack this down Rodmore's side to try and destabilise it.
You saw Skinstad there complaining to the touch judge. What about a report?
No. Playing line with his legs around the ball, preventing it coming in.
It's Australia's ball. Here's Larkham. Half-body pick-up. Larkham! Caught in the last line. Foley now. Third phase for Australia. Gregan. Referee says the pass was okay. It looked to be a little forward. Larkham out wide. Joe Rock pulls from the tackler. Gregan again. Hands in the ruck from South Africa.
This is the time they've got to push the button, the Wallabies. They've got the advantage.
The advantage still there as Foley takes a hit. Referee still playing advantage. Finnegan. He made 5 again. He's lost it. No advantage. And the penalty for Australia.
So this time, Bram van Straten.
Sensational Springbok defence to keep the Wallabies out. They are scrapping big time. Drayton Pauls has attended to. There's blood coming out of his nose. He can't breathe. Great angle.
It's as though John Eales is going to go to touch for this play.
So the Springboks still preserving their goal line. The Wallabies have failed to cross it now. 128 minutes of rugby. And Australia's going to go for touch here.
It's a tough young character. Drayton Pauls are an attacking excitement machine. Gutsy young man.
Heroic defence from the Springboks to date. Can Australia find a way through? Just a fierce, steely resolve from the South Africans. Lost there by Joe Rock, it seems. But again, put that down to the pressure of the visitors' defence.
You just can't waste too many of these opportunities so close to the Springbok line. It's a bad track.
Every time they defend against it, they grow a little bit of stature.
Well, they've won another psychological battle, and off goes Van der Westhuizen. Eales the tackle over the 22. Left there for Andre Venter. Van Straten. Nathan Gray went low. South Africa still inside their 22. Paulsen now. Hurried kick towards the touchline.
Well, Polster did exceptionally well. That ball, Zoe could have fumbled it, regained, and got a pretty good kick away, considering.
Good pressure from the Wallabies to minimise the territory disadvantage.
The Box have been pinned inside their half and down inside the quarter since the game resumed. Larkham and Herbert. Another fine tackle by Dion Kaiser. Box arrive in numbers at the breakdown. Johnny Eels. South Africa a little short on numbers. It's been pinched. Van der Westhuizen quickly to Matfield. This is Sanchez. He wriggled out of 2 tackles. So yet another turnover forced by this South African defence. Referee playing advantage. I think he penalising John Eels.
Ball not out in the side.
So the Wallabies looking rattled, Simon.
Yeah, and one of the guys who is rattling them is Van der Westhuizen. He's having a huge game.
Well, they're not used to making poor decisions in attack, and the Wallabies are flat-footed. They're trying to search for somebody to take the ball forward, and there's no one stepping up.
Well, Van der Westhuizen will be playing for the Newport club in Wales. Expected to make his debut on the 1st of September, the day the Wallabies play the All Blacks at Stadium Australia against the Edinburgh Reavers. So he's a huge loss for South African rugby, but he's playing like a man possessed and inspired tonight. Has punched up and takes it to within 27 metres of the Aussie goal line. So they've resisted 10 minutes of unbelievable Australian pressure.
Well, if they can now put points on the board, it'll be a huge psychological blow to the Wallabies.
They've done it well at the front. Van Villiers, Green in the tackler. How good was that?
He tapped it out. There you go. Run the line out. No.
Extra deception from the Springbok in the line out. They faded back and gave Van Villiers a chance to head down the sideline.
Just Andrews changed the call. I don't think it was always going to him. He realised it was on his own, nodded to Van Villiers. And they worked some magic down the touchline.
Harrison then, the Aussies now. Gray and Finnegan, the pass was forward. So just the execution letting the Australians down. Referee was right in line.
Pressure time. Let's see how they stand up. Rod Moore, Michael Foley, Nick Stiles with it all to do. Another smashing scrum. Cobus Fasaki on the left. Lucas Van Villiers, this young tyro. And on this loose outside, Robbie Kempson for the Springboks. Head to head.
340 kilograms of prime South African beef in that front row.
It's just a slip down here. 3 Green's feet wet. Okay, on the ground.
So Michael Foley using all of his vast experience in this situation. South Africa poised for a strike. It's James, Van der Westhuizen. Blatant pass of that got and a try saver by George Gregan. Beautiful execution again from the box.
A great hunger from George Gregan defence to get across there.
He's an outstanding defensive halfback, George Gregan. He just trailed this, waited till he could pick off the man and smack him, as he did Lucas Van Villiers only moments before.
Foley goes long. Brooks James came in. Finnegan couldn't hold on. Can Australia now? They have numbers out wide. And there's a huge tackle. South Africa sent backwards by Matfield. Daniel Herbert with a magnificent tackle there. James. Intercept. Joe Rock. Oh, he was interfered with by Brooks James. He put his foot in behind Ross leg.
No touch judge saw it, and I don't think either did the referee.
Here's George Smith. There was another shoulder charge coming in there from Butch James, I think. He's been cautioned twice for it. The referee's playing an advantage. Kick's gone too far. So here's the penalty. And is it for a shoulder charge? This is the third time.
Penalty here. 10.
He's called out 10, which is Butch James. It'd be a shame to see him without somebody for 10 minutes.
Well, if he deserves it, he deserves it. But what judgment by Joe
Third
Roth.
time going into the tackle without the arms. Dangerous play. I've already given you a caution for it.
Sinbin.
I think he's a bit outdone by that time, but he is a recidivist, unfortunately, in this area of the tackle. And this could be the thing that swings this game. The Wallabies swooped on the Lions after half-time in Melbourne and turned it around. It may just be the thing.
So a recidivist, Buddha. Could you explain that for the non-front rowers?
It's a front rower's term. It means a repeat offender.
Just back to Joe Roth. Extraordinary intercept, that one.
Well, Phil Waugh is on for George Smith. Just about to come on from touch as Chris Latham goes down the line.
Very tough game for George Smith out there. The Springbok at the breakdown have been absolutely lethal in cleaning out. And as we see the hit there from Butch James, you're right, Buddha, a little bit exceptional.
You're making a sub.
So Phil Waugh is on and George Smith departs.
Play on now.
And Phil Waugh, this pocket battleship, will relish his opportunity with 15 minutes to go. Harrison again. Great pass from Gregan. This is Gray. Well over the advantage line. Skinstad was the tackler. That's Michael Foley, like a runaway train. Gregan goes in. They're a man down, South Africa, for 10 minutes. And there's 15 minutes to go.
Owen Finnegan's work rate is outstanding. He's doing the hit-ups. He's doing the big tackles. He's leading by example. He's put Harrison and Eales into his shadow. They've got to follow him.
But will you help me with my mathematics? I can't add up. There's 25 minutes to go, and it's Australia trailing by 3-8.
Well, what a critical line out. Springboks tried the quick one. It was pulled back by Steve Lander.
Lucas van Villiers. Well, the Wallabies certainly have had their chances. Springbok defence has answered every challenge so far. Victor Matfield at the back. Oh, he's had a mighty game from the Bulls in Super 12 to the Test Arena here in Perth. And very composed play by the Springboks, but no touch here. Joe Roth. Quickly to Burke. Off he goes. Herbert's outside. 10-metre line, South African territory. Andrews came in. Nick Styles wasn't expecting it. Big clean out. Player left his feet. And also a man holding on the ground.
I agree. Nick Styles wasn't expecting the ball. He got taken in a good tackle, and referee, fair enough. Nick Styles trying to stop the ball being wrenched from his arms.
Well, again, just a lack of composure from the Australians.
Well, quite amazing. Steve Walsh, the first time this game, he's penalised for hanging on at the breakdown.
Burke did the right thing here. He knew he'd run out of legs and straightened. He laid the ball back. And watch the struggle here. Gregan couldn't find a runner. Flat-footed Styles. He gets caught by Van Biljon. Maybe the tackler should have released. But he got penalised for not doing it quickly enough.
Keep it open.
It's a real grey area. But South Africa have clawed their way back upfield. A man down.
Not in Styles' defence, it wasn't a man on his feet going at the ball. It was a bloke on the ground with him.
Yes, that was why it was an interesting decision. Under Westhuizen to Brown van Straten. Phil Waugh with a pile driver. South Africa still have it. Conrad Janches, George Gregan. So cool. Skinstad with a touchdown. Matfield appeared to get a hand on it. Not long.
Oh, out of jail now from this scrum. With Butch James out of the back line, the Australians have to use it going left.
and they've got to go wide and quickly. They're lucky to have Brunton Stratton, a very good number 10, to fill in. But it's all a matter of marking up. It's all a matter of numbers and about skill and guile. They've got to test the Springboks now.
So Robbie Gibson down for an injury, and we're going to play on here, said the referee. He's taken the magic water away and said, let's get back down to the scrum.
Great decision, best of the day. Bring it on.
Let me go, please. Thank you.
It's thirsty work in the front row. Stephen Larkham. Chris Latham. Larkham trying to put him through the gap. Penalty for Australia. Tackle player. Man coming in for the tackle has no rights. He has to roll away. Bobby Skinstad, if he's off his feet.
Well, finally got it right, Steve Welch. We were tough on him the last time, but that was clear. The man that does the tackling has got to release the player with the ball once he's made the tackle, and he can't continue to play the ball while he's off his feet.
And a special cheerio to all people watching this 7 telecast in hospital, and especially to a young man, Tim Cook, who's at the Royal Prince Alfred Intensive Care. A television has been wheeled in especially for him, and Tim, the Wallabies send their very best to you.
And the spinal unit at Princess Alexandra Hospital in Brisbane. A lot of great rugby players watching there. Good luck to you.
We've still got subs going on. It's 1 and 5 for you guys. Well, can you tell me?
So Rod Moore departs, proud product of Carlingford High School. The New South Wales combined high schools to play the English schoolboys at the TG Milner Field in Sydney tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock.
And on comes Ollie LaRue and Albert Vandenberg. So the Boks, they'll match power with power.
So Rod Moore, an old CHS boy. Michael Foley. Great work by Kefu. Big clearance from Gregan. Larkham! Now Australia set up again here. All the men are on the right. Kefu's having a go. Foss with a no-nonsense tackle. Gregan. Gray. This South African defence is magnificent, but now it's opening up. Latham and Joe Rock. Albert Vandenberg, the lock is there first. Couldn't hold on. Skinstad to Paulson. Wonderful play there by the Springbok skipper to set up the counter-attack.
Chris Latham looked up in disbelief. He thought that Vandenberg had dropped that ball forward.
Well, it was good work by Herbert to find space, and also Latham. Rock was on the fly. He could easily have got in front of Vandenberg. That probably was good scrambling by Bobby Skinstad, who was involved with a little scrap with Steve Larkham earlier.
So Larkham in trouble here. No change to the half-time score, 8-3.
A little scraps. Larkham was tackled without the ball by Skinstad.
So how committed is this South African side? They showed it early on when we saw that desperation from Joost van der Westhuizen to stop a ball from going into touch, and they continued on in the same vein. Matt Cobain coming on the field.
And he's coming on for Justin Harrison. That's interesting. They need some more firepower in there, the Wallabies.
So the hitman, Matt Cobain, on the field, the 28-year-old. Albert Vandenberg. Skinstad kicking. The mark was called by Joe Rock. The Wallabies probably wanted to pluck on there, but Rock had an each-way bet. He needs a big kick here. Steered it beautifully. Oh, what a kick by Joe Rock. Almost down to the 22. They play on quickly. This is Drayton Paulsar. So the net gain for Australia in the end is about 35 metres. They'll have a line-out throw on halfway.
But it wastes a bit of time. Butch James sits patiently on the sideline under a big blanket because it is cold.
Possession now at 50% for either side.
Leave the man in the ear. Off the shoulder.
There's obstruction on the shoulder of the Australian jumper.
Just so much interference from the Springbok forwards coming at the breakdown in the line-out. Watch Eels here.
Springboks are taking the gap. Moving in and across there. They've done their line-outs work really smartly. They're taking the space. They're chancing the penalty.
Now, here is the opportunity for the men in goal.
This is their preferred attacking set-piece line-up. They've got to get it down.
A couple of minutes then as Coburn takes it at the front. Nathan Gray. But he goes to ground in midfield. Kefu again with good go forwards. They need to do it again here, the Wallabies, but they haven't been able to put phases together in this match.
Full war on the ground, strong.
Here they go, 3 on 3. Skinstep was there. Finnegan. 5 metres to go. Still the Wallabies can't reach this wall. Kefu. A try would level the scores. Out wide. Nathan Gray. Lost in the head.
Wonderful defence.
He's coming back.
Well, Victor Matfield, the big lock, was out there. Look at the Australian bench. It's nail-biting stuff here.
Take the scrum. They've thrown everything at him, the Wallabies. Gray has been sensational tonight and loses the ball forward so close to the line.
What a tackle by Brayden Polster, the little man. How did he manage that?
It was an absolute acrobatical genius. Now it comes back to Fambullion. The balding strong man in the front row was Butch Walker. Butch James prowls the touchline waiting to get back on.
Well, some of these...
and he comes back on down.
So he's back on the field. He's been in the sin bin. Australia couldn't make an impression on the scoreboard. Deep breaths for the South African tight forwards. Ollie LaRue is on the pitch, number 17. Kovas Fasaki still there at tight heads. 17 for Australia is Ben Darwin. 15 minutes to go. The box by 5.
And Graham Bond comes on the field from the Terrigal Trojans. A Colt there, a proud moment for him.
Loose ball. South Africa lost ahead.
We'll take the lot forward first.
Out of jail, the Wallabies have a chance now to go to the scrum.
Well, Just lucky he wasn't penalised there. He flicked that ball back when he was on the ground, and that's why he had a big smile.
Territory in possession must be overwhelmingly in the Wallabies' favour. They can't get through.
He's a mile away. He's a mile away.
John Smith coming on the field for Lucas van Villion.
Smith at Cairo as well.
Both from the Natal Sharks. Smith, number 16.
There's a good drop forward. He comes on at hooker.
Go!
Michael Foley's Christmas has arrived all at once here.
We go. Up we
with
come.
the massive John Smith on the field. 116 kilos. 14 minutes remaining. Australian scrum has to be solid here. Gregan. Larkham. Herbert and Larkham. Andre Voss, good clean up. Gregan again. Matt Cobain, first receiver. Skinstep trying to reap it back. It's going to be a penalty here in front of the posts. Still playing advantage. Try still on. Well, Australia has to take the 3 points here, surely.
Well, this is about number 7. What's the referee going to do about this?
I've given you a caution. You 4 times have killed the ball. You're in the bin as well.
Yeah. Wow. Bobby Skinstep,
You individually.
the captain, has been sin bin. And he applauds the referee's decision mockingly.
And don't disrespect the referee. Bobby Skinstad, you're the captain of a very proud nation. Get on with it.
Well, he's had a wholehearted game, Skinstad, and he would argue there the ball wasn't released. He was first there on his feet.
He has killed the ball all night. It's a fair call. Skinstad lying over it. He smiles and applauds the referee.
Well, he was first there, and he continued to hold on to the ball.
Repeat offender, Gordon. He's got to go.
But did he offend?
Yes.
Matthew Burke to close the gap to 2. This time. 8 plays 6.
Well, the Springboks have had Butch James off for 10 minutes. Now Bob Skinstad off for 10 minutes. Can the Wallabies gain the advantage?
Bob Skinstad will come back with about 3 minutes remaining in the game. How will the scoreboard read?
I can't remember the time it's taken me so long in a game to say, go you good thing. It just seems that way. The Wallabies haven't been able to get through into their stride.
Dan Herberts.
Taking the man out.
Well, this is a penalty attempt definitely for South Africa. And a silly penalty conceded by the Wallabies. And there you see Nick Stiles going in with an elbow, making no attempt to play the ball. And I suggest maybe he was the one who was the offender in the referee's eyes. So a shot for Bram van Straten. And South Africa can be back out to 5 points very shortly. It's 8-6 to South Africa, but it could be 11 in a few moments. Bram van Straten has kicked 1 from 4, and he gets the one that counts. 5-point advantage for the Boks with their skipper off the field. 10 to go.
Springboks with the advantage for that line last kick-off. It is now time for the Wallabies to get that ball back into their territory.
The last 10 minutes have been set up perfectly.
3 replacement forwards on the field for Australia. And there's a bad knock on by Andre Venter. Will that be the break Australia needs? Stiles into scrum half. Larkham on the loop. This is Herbert. Albert Vandenberg was herring up in defence. Todai Kepu. Gregan. Numbers for Australia. And the pass went to ground. Well, that's unforgivable stuff from this normally composed Australian team.
Skinstad on referee playing advantage. They've got to make those ones count.
The crowd signified on the scoreboard at 42,658. I think that's the second biggest crowd ever at Subiaco. Maybe just below the figure for the Perth Glory and the Wollongong Wolves in the NSL soccer final. Van der Westhuizen. His kick's gone straight up. Kepu's there. Back for Joe Roth. He made 10, stepping nicely off his right foot. Kepu again. Good clean out by the Australian forwards. That was Michael, it was Nick Stiles. Herberts! Graham! Graham Bond! It was an early tackle, says the referee. Pinning it down. Tantalisingly close. Composure needed.
nothing but composed and nothing but outstanding in the game. They plugged it away patiently. They worked it across to him and he made that break so clean, so good. Go you, good thing.
So Matthew Burke attempting now to put Australia in the lead. They trailed 8-3 at half-time. He's missed it, as he did in 1998. A shot that would have put Australia in the lead 3 years ago, and the scores remain locked. 11 plays 11.
What a test match. What a test match.
Well, we can forgive Matthew Burke in this high pitch of excitement and tension. It has been an epic between these two sides. 11-all. Matt Cobain soared. Now Larkham almost charged down by Van der Westhuizen. This is Dean Hall. And we're 5 from halfway.
It was great technique from the Wallabies, the kick-off. Albert Vandenberg, who can get up, is a huge man anyway, but they sent Cobain up into the sky to bring the ball down.
7 minutes to go.
Now they've got to win a Springbok line-out.
Well taken at the back by Matt Field. Ollie LaRue with a lovely pass. Andre Voss tackled by Kepu. It's inside Australia's territory. John Smith monstered there by Finnegan.
Again.
So they're disorganised now. That was a hurried kick. Matthew Burke looking to punish. But it's off the side of his boots. The Bucks out of jail.
Well, this is the real pressure zone. You do not want to be playing the Springbok side in your own half.
Look at this for a tackle. Smith comes, stopped dead in his track, muscle backwards.
235 kilograms head-on collision. John Smith, I should say. Skinstad still has 3 minutes in the bin. Van der Westhuizen saw a gap. It closed. Ollie LaRue at scrum half. Former South African water polo representative. There was an earlier penalty offence by Australia. And this can break the deadlock.
Infringements. He also did a foot trip down there as well as a high tackle. Okay? No, that was fine. That was fine. I was playing advantage for this, okay? Sure.
Get your hand out of the way, says the South African boot. Nothing much in that. So Bram van Straten, with 5 minutes to go, can put the Boks back in the lead.
And his coach, Tim Lane, worked with AXA as we see the angle. Bob Templeton's great company in Brisbane, that legend of rugby. And now this could win the game for them, the AXA angle. If it's good, they'll be well over.
So Bram van Straten can make himself a hero here. He's kicked 2 from 5. This to put the Boks back in the leads. And it's not a problem. Fantastic result for South Africa as they scrounge their way back to a 3-point advantage. 4 to go. Skinstad back on in 1 minute.
Well, if they're going to win it, they've got to score a try, the Wallabies. Unless you're good enough, you don't deserve it.
John Eales was there. Kobus Fasaki.
Legs up.
And Australia, with breathing space, they have the line out throw. So they've regained the ball there from that kickoff. Skinstad.
Right there.
With seconds remaining before he returns.
Down we go. Keep it open.
Michael Foley then, 10-metre line. Matfield went high. Gregan. Here's Joe Ross steaming onto the ball. He beat Brooks James's tackle. Support break there by Joe Ross. advantage here for Australia. There's a penalty in front. Amazing.
Now I wonder if John Eales will go for the try as happened last week with Anton Oliver. I don't think so. I think he'll take the points first, as he should. Great work, Toto Kefu. He's carried the ball manfully all day, slowing down that ball, trying to prevent it coming back. Just van der Westhuizen.
Well, again, it was brilliant defence from South Africa to cover up. Ollie LaRue was there, so was van der Westhuizen. 2.5 to go. Matthew Bird has a kick just 15 metres out in front of the goalposts.
And that must be the narrowest gap he's ever seen, Gordon, at this stage. I don't envy him.
Well, he would have kicked these when he was playing for the Eastwood Juniors with no problem. And the Carlingford Redbacks. It's all locked up again. 14 plays 14. Who wants it? 2 to go. Well, South Africa will want to pin Australia down in their half now and get the penalty or the drop goal to win the game. This restart, the most important of the match. Brian van Straten comfortably for Matt Cobain.
Forward.
And the Australians have lost the ball forward from that restart. So South Africa's chance then. A penalty for South Africa would be a straightforward opportunity for Brian van Straten.
Time to keep the scrum up.
We'll have to come and go back.
This is called professionalism
Just
here.
right there.
This is called discipline.
Well, move yourself. Engage.
Ben Darwin on this side.
Still having some difficulty on that side of the scrum.
Go back and get set. There it is right there. Crouch and hold.
So the massive Ollie LaRue at loose head for South Africa closest. Here it goes for Skinstad. Loose pass, nice bounce. Youngchez. Gregan's there. Now Australia will try and retain the possession here. Larkham straight back to the kick. This is Gray. Australia still have it. No, I think it might have been pinched by South Africa. Here they go. Dion Kaiser. Wrapped up by Phil Waugh. They've lost it, South Africa. And a man diving in on the loose ball as it emerged from the right. Was that South Africa's last chance?
This has gone to the wire. Look at that clock ticking down. 14 all the score. Perth has seen another cracker.
25 seconds to go. The referee said we will play the line out.
So he's indicated that they will play from the line out as he should, because it hasn't gone full term.
Now Stephen Larkham, remember what he did in the World Cup semi-final against South Africa?
It's there to be won.
With a drop goal. There's no extra time in this match, but it's too far out for the drop goal. Here's Gregan. Larkham. Gray. There's the hooter. We're now into injury time. It's 14 all. Larkham. Australia in possession. South Africa cannot afford to concede a penalty. Finnegan! Well, he's had an outstanding match, Owen Finnegan. Now Larkham again. Little step. Back into the teeth of the South African forwards. Nathan Gray needs support here. He's on his own. Good clean up from the Wallabies. Phil Waugh was there. Finnegan again. Makes another 5. Australia working it through the phases. They're getting close to those posts. The drop goal's on for Larkham. Can he do it again? It's close. It's gone wide. What an anticlimax. That is full time. Incredibly, these two sides have played themselves to a standstill. A marvellous test match finishes at 14-14. South Africa had 2 men in the sin bin in in the second half, but still they kept coming back and digging deep. And Larkham unable to repeat history in the last seconds of the game.